On a lovely December morning, I'm sure you know everything about communication. So I'm interested in what you think might help you to communicate better, especially in your kind of life, studying at school and thinking about what you might be doing after school, which is eventually working.
Yeah.
Hey. So have you got some ideas? Because communication, if you look at the world studies, loads of them now, started with the World Bank telling us that nearly 90% of the people across the whole world thought the most important thing about society is communication needs it to be better.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy to guess why, because we're so multicultural now.
Yeah.
And all these people did speak different languages. You have different customs, don't they? Different beliefs. You see it in your school, don't you? Because I went into your primary school and I have been into your senior school, but it was very obvious you had a lot of different ethnic groups.
Yeah. Especially in my secondary school, it's one of the most diverse schools in London.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Can you tell us why?
I guess there's just lots of different, lots of diversity, lots of different cultures, which I guess you can learn from.
Yeah. Do you think there's a problem about it? Yeah, you've made a very good point. You can learn from them.
Yeah. But it's good. It's sort of, you can learn to communicate with different people who don't speak in the same way, and I guess communicate in different ways and have different values and in their culture they've grown up, because they haven't grown up in the same culture as us.
Do you think people from different cultures are quite keen to learn our culture or not?
Sure, I guess it varies from person to person. Sure, some of them are, sure some of them are not.
But do you come across that?
A little bit, yeah.
Tell me more.
It varies. Some people are sort of very keen to learn and some are not. Just different.
Do you think that's the problem?
Well, I guess it'll sort of help if people try and learn our culture and learn our culture, but learn our language, and yeah.
Do you go into the playground and find people talk in different languages?
Sometimes we've got like a separate bit of our school which is called the EAL, which people who have just moved to our country and they speak English so well and they like learn English there, and then they get like integrated into the actual school once they do.
Because in the first school I taught in Leicester, there were 234 different languages spoken. Now that was 1983.
Right.
I mean, 1983. So we're talking about
Yeah.
how long? Yeah, it was 40 odd years ago. Yeah. I guess it's more now. Still.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, it was regarded Leicester was the most multicultural city in Europe. So it wasn't surprising. But you go now and you see hardly any white people. It is very multicultural.
Well, a lot of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there are problems because certain cultures don't like other cultures. And I used to come out at the university, because I did a lot of evening classes, PhD and masters, you know what I'm talking about. Well, they used to come for lectures in the evening. I mean, I used to come out at 9 o'clock. All these people fighting. I often had to call the police, and that was in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
and recently there were 25 policemen badly injured after an attack like that. So this is why it's important that we kind of learn about intercultural communication matters.
yeah. So
that we can get over the differences that spark off the conflicts.
yeah, and then different cultures can learn to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Stop this.
You see, in countries like Finland, when I've worked in Finland, intercultural communication matters is a mandatory program for students. And when I was in London University in a medical school, I developed a course in intercultural communication. Do you know why? Because in medicine, in the National Health Service, we had done some research in our department. It was Communication and Medical Sciences department. And about 60% of people were misdiagnosed because of miscommunication. So I started this course, and who was the first to come and have a look at it? It was Helsinki University, because they were fascinated. It was the first course in England, and they were fascinated by it. And it very interesting. Countries all over the world, Poland came, Australia, sent people to come on and look at the course.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Which is why when the Intermar Military and Marine Academy course started, they asked me to lead the program.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, most mishaps are happening from football.
So I think it is important now that on curriculum worldwide, intercultural communication matters is something that becomes a priority.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'm sure you come across miscommunications.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you got any examples?
Well, I guess there's ways to sort of stop that. Like you were saying, sport is a good way to learn to communicate with different people and like different types of people. Like some people respond to things better than others, and learning to communicate with different types of people and how to get the best out of people and how they can most understand you, get the most out of them.
But at a school, do you ever come across miscommunication as a factor? Have you got any example?
Kids sometimes don't understand the work because they're sort of, and they don't speak the language particularly well, or just say it isn't explained all that way.
In a way that they can understand. Yeah. Because I was on the World Thinking projects, I did a couple of pilot studies here in the Northampton area. They're lovely, some of the immigrant students, but I didn't find any of them who were on the study spoke English at home. They spoke their own language, and that is understandable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's their home language. It's part of their identity.
Mm.
But they all agreed that they found it difficult working with English as the language of instruction because they didn't understand the nuances.
Yeah.
You've got to keep talking it in all contexts to understand how a word is used across contexts, haven't you?
Yeah.
You see, you've got a word like run in our vocabulary that has over 600 meanings. Would you believe?
Yeah.
Now, when I was a student, one of the things we were taught that our common words, 500 common words, had about 15,000 different meanings. Now that's increased, because think how old I am. And meanings increase, don't they, with people coming in from other countries. And that's what I found about working in Japan. Words that we use had a completely different meaning.
Yeah. There's not always direct translations. So it's sort of...
No. And I moved from a medical profession into education.
Yeah.
And in education, they use the word kinesthetic. Auditory, visual, kinesthetic. You know what I'm talking about. Auditory is ears.
Yeah.
Visual is eyes. And kinesthetic they use with describe feeling, when you touch them. Now, in medicine, we use the term haptic.
Yeah.
And it included a lot more things like your sense of position in space, for example, and much more sort of psychological things about feeling were included in the concept used in clinical examination in medicine to what was people in education we're using it for.
Yeah, I guess that's.
And I found that quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I found that very much in Japan. That words we used had sometimes a very different meaning.
Yeah, I guess that's how there's miscommunication tactics.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, thanks for that. That's
Otherwise,
great.